Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum last night as the forces of Quotha Smash seized control of the restless shore. And the forces of Carb Loaders knock out the champs, becoming the new undisputed heavyweight champions of Eternum. KOTT News crews were on remote assignment covering an unrelated event last night, but have submitted requests for interviews with both companies. KOTT News would like to remind its subscribers of the second annual Festival of the Campfire coming this September 28th. Come revisit the early days of the island by setting your campsite outside of town and reminisce about what the Festival of the Campfire means to you. Turning to the weather, and the forecast calls for clear skies all day long again. But once more after sunset, corruption forces will rise up and invade the polar regions. 3 rosters submitted for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPCO. Remember, if it isn't LARPCO, it's cardboard. Getting things started are the Syndicate forces of Limited Liability Corp, assailing the Covenant forces of Hmong Village LLC for control of the primary oil reserves of Weaver's Fen. Limited Liability Corporation back on the hunt for land after being turned away last night, but will fighting on back-to-back nights hamper their efforts. The Great House of Hmong Village, Inc. have held the peat moss fields of the Fen ever since the megastorm, but will yesterday's typhoon give rise to a rescheduling? Meanwhile, the Syndicate forces of the Censored attack the Marauders of Nirvana Healers Union for control of the medicinal hot springs of Ebonscale. Censored forces, sensing a weakness in the Nirvana Collective, abandon the archipelago and strike in their attempt to secure the resort destination. Nirvana forces have been displaced from 2 of the Central Corridor regions as their empire begins to contract. But will they stand their ground here? In the nightcap, the Covenant forces of Nova and Friends assault the Marauders of Yig Dodgers for crowning kingdom of the Western Monarch's Bluff. The Zealots of Nova and Friends march up to the bluff and declare the forces of Yig Dodgers unfit to wear the crown of leadership for the monarchy. The forces of Yig Dodgers have dealt with such claims before, but not always successfully. But again, still they stand now as the current controllers of the kingdom. Be sure to tune in for complete coverage and reactions from the citizens at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News.